Chosen one? In the next 15 minutes, you're going to discover why every closed door in your life was divine protection, why your longest wait is about to end, and the 3 undeniable signs that your elevation begins today. Not next month, not when you feel ready. Today. In 2019, a 52-year-old woman named Patricia won $2 million in a lawsuit. 18 months later, she was broke, broken, and more lost than before the money came. What if I told you that God delayed your breakthrough to save you from that same destruction? Maybe you're sitting there right now, 57 years old, wondering if you missed your window. Maybe you're watching younger people get the opportunities you prayed for. Maybe you're tired of being faithful when nothing seems to change. I see you. God sees you. And what I'm about to reveal will shift everything you thought you understood about timing. If something in your spirit is stirring right now, type 999 in the comments. Let that be your sacred agreement. And subscribe to this channel, because heaven isn't finished speaking to you yet. What comes next will change everything. Let me show you why your wait wasn't wasted, why your elevation has been delayed, and why that's actually good news. Let me tell you about Patricia. 52 years old, Ohio, office manager for 17 years, wrongfully terminated. She fought back and won $2 million. Finally, after decades of struggling, she could breathe. She paid off her house, bought a BMW, helped everyone who asked. 18 months later, broke, depressed, more lost than before the money came. Her financial advisor asked one question: if you'd received this money 10 years ago, would the outcome be different? She knew the answer. No. What if God delayed your elevation, not because he forgot you, but because he was protecting you from a blessing you weren't ready to steward? Here's the truth nobody tells you. Elevation without preparation is a setup for destruction. Let me show you 3 types of premature elevation and why your delay has been saving your life. Type 1. The financial windfall. You're not ready for Patricia, had the money, but not the systems, not the wisdom, not the character to match her capacity. Proverbs 13:11 says, "Wealth gained hastily will dwindle." Not might, will. But look at Joseph. 17 years old, God gave him a dream. Then, pit, slavery, false accusation, prison. 13 years between promise and promotion. Why? Because God was building in him what he'd need at the top. In slavery, Joseph learned administration. In prison, he learned to lead without a title. At 30, when Pharaoh called him up, Joseph didn't just have a dream. He had the character to carry it. That's your delay. God's been building what you'll need when doors open. Type 2. The platform you can't handle. Mark was 58, small business owner, invited to speak at a major conference, 3,000 people. He thought, this is it, my big break. 6 months later, he was hospitalized for anxiety. The exposure was right. His foundation wasn't. God wasn't withholding the platform. He was withholding Mark from the platform until he could carry it without it crushing him. Have you prayed for influence? Have you prayed for the humility to steward it? Type 3. The relationship that would have destroyed you. Jennifer, 44, prayed for years for a husband. At 41, she met him. Perfect, handsome, successful, said all the right things. Something kept stopping her from saying yes. 3 years later, arrested for embezzlement. He'd been lying about everything. God's no was protecting her from what she thought she wanted. That job you didn't get at 51. That business partnership that fell through at 58. What if it wasn't rejection? It was redirection. The real reason for your delay, the character gap. There's a gap between where you are and where God wants you. But most people miss this. The gap isn't just about skills or connections. It's about character. And right now, you're passing 4 tests you don't even know you're taking. Test number 1, the faithfulness test. God is watching what you do when nobody's watching, not to judge you, to trust you. David tended sheep in obscurity for years before Goliath. Why? God needed to know. Will you be faithful with 5 sheep before I trust you with 5,000 people? Are you still showing up at that job you hate? Still serving at church when nobody thanks you? That's not punishment. That's your promotion exam. Test number 2, the integrity test. Robert, 61, was offered a side deal that would have made him $50,000, but violated company policy. Nobody would have known. He said no. 6 months later, his boss retired and recommended Robert for the position. Why? The boss had been testing him. Daniel wouldn't eat the king's food. Small thing. But that small integrity test positioned him to rule Babylon. God is watching your small ethics tests. If you'll cheat for $500, you'll cheat with 500,000. Test number 3, the humility test. This takes longest for people over 50. You've lived long enough to accumulate opinions, experience, and stubbornness. Can you still learn? Still admit you're wrong? Still receive correction from someone younger? Margaret, 67, ran a successful real estate business for 30 years. When digital marketing became essential, she humbled herself to learn from her 28-year-old assistant. Within 2 years, her business doubled. But I've seen 55-year-old men lose everything because they couldn't admit they didn't know something. James 4:6. God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. That's not symbolic. That's literal. Test number 4, the stewardship test. What are you doing with what you already have? You're praying for more money, but are you managing what you have with excellence? You're praying for a bigger house, but is your current home organized? The parable of the talents isn't symbolic. It's a test. The man with 5 talents got more because he multiplied what he had. The man who buried his 1 lost everything. Linda, 56, single mom, prayed for a better job. God said, "Master the job you have first." She started showing up 15 minutes early, volunteering for projects nobody wanted. 9 months later, recruited by a competitor for double the salary. Elevation comes to those who maximize where they are, not to those who complain about where they're not. The comparison trap and how it's blocking your breakthrough. Let me get real with you. You're on Facebook. Someone your age just bought their dream home, started their dream business, retired early. And something inside you dies a little. Am I right? When you're 25 and someone's ahead, you think, I have time. When you're 55 and someone's ahead, you think, I'm out of time. Every birthday feels like a countdown. Every gray hair feels like evidence you missed your window. Let me show you 2 60-year-olds. Richard scrolls social media every morning, sees former colleagues thriving, traveling, speaking. He spirals. I wasted my life. Susan, also 60, stopped following people who triggered her. Started a gratitude journal. 6 months later, launched a consulting business serving exactly where she'd been. Same age, same season, different focus. Galatians 6:4. Test your own actions. Then you can take pride in yourself alone without comparing yourself to someone else. Run your race. Your lane is yours. And the person you're comparing yourself to, they're probably comparing themselves to someone else too. Here's what's happening neurologically. Your brain at 50 plus has accumulated wisdom 25-year-olds don't have. But comparison robs you of accessing it. When you compare, you activate your amygdala, the fear center. When you focus on your assignment, you activate your prefrontal cortex, the wisdom center. For the next 48 hours, I challenge you. No social media scrolling. Watch how your peace returns. The elevation equation is simple. Gratitude for your journey is greater than jealousy of their journey, and that equals open doors. The moment you stop measuring your life against theirs is the moment your elevation accelerates. The truth. You need to hear. Your delay wasn't because God forgot you. It was because He was protecting you, preparing you, and positioning you. Patricia got money without character and lost everything. Mark got a platform without foundation and collapsed. Jennifer almost married destruction, disguised as desire. But you? You've been in the wilderness, passing tests. Faithfulness, when nobody was watching. Integrity, when compromise was easier. Humility, when pride was tempting. Stewardship of little before being trusted with much. Marcus was 58, passed over for promotions for 23 years. Angry, hurt, questioned God. Then his company eliminated the position he'd wanted. The promoted people let go. But Marcus, steady in his role, was kept on. The new CEO recognized his stability and offered him a position, creating a new division. At 58, Marcus now leads 40 people and makes more than he imagined. He told me, if I'd gotten that director job at 45, I would have lost it at 47. God was protecting me from a sinking ship while preparing me for something better. Your character has been catching up to your calling. Your foundation has been reinforced for the weight of your future. What you thought was rejection was actually divine redirection. Now the question isn't, why the delay? The question is, what has the delay prepared me for? And chosen one, you're about to discover 3 undeniable signs that your wait is over and your elevation begins now. The 3 undeniable signs. Your elevation starts now. Now, here's where everything shifts. We've talked about why the delay happened. You understand now that God wasn't punishing you. He was preparing you. But I know what you're thinking. Okay, so when? When does my elevation actually start? I'm about to share 3 signs with you. And I promise, if you're experiencing even one of these, your season has shifted. If you're experiencing all 3, listen closely. Heaven is about to move so fast, you'll barely be able to keep up. Sign 1, the death of old connections. This is going to sound harsh, but it's the truth. God removes people from your life to make room for your elevation. John 15:2 says, every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes, so it will be even more fruitful. Notice that. The branches that get pruned are the fruitful ones. If you're losing people right now, it's not because you're failing. It's because you're about to flourish. Let me show you the 3 types of relationships that fall away before elevation. Type 1, the drainers. These are people who only call when they need something. You love them, but after every conversation, you're exhausted. Thomas, 51, had a best friend for 20 years. Every phone call was complaints, drama, crisis. Thomas finally set a boundary. The friend disappeared. Thomas felt guilty for months. Was I being unchristian? Should I have tried harder? Then he got the promotion he'd been praying for. He realized that friendship was taking energy meant for his assignment. Type 2, the doubters. These are people who've known you so long. They can't see you any other way. They love you, but they don't believe in you. Mary, 48, decided to go back to school for her master's degree. Her sister said, at your age, why bother? You should be thinking about retirement, not more student loans. Mary felt crushed, but went anyway. Now, at 52, She's teaching at a university, doing exactly what she was called to do. Her sister, still stuck in the same job, same mindset, still telling people what they can't do. Type 3. The seasoned friends. These aren't bad people. They were right for your last season, but wrong for your next one. Think about Ruth and Orpah in the Bible. Both followed Naomi until the road got hard. Orpah turned back. Ruth pressed forward. Neither was wrong, but only Ruth was destined for Boaz. Some people are assigned to your life for a reason or a season, not a lifetime. I saw this with Janet and Carol. Friends for 18 years. Met at church, raised kids together, went through divorces together. But when Janet, at 55, decided to start a nonprofit, Carol couldn't understand it. Why are you taking on more stress? We're supposed to be slowing down. Janet tried to bring Carol along, but Carol kept pulling her back. Eventually, they drifted. It hurt. But 3 years later, Janet's nonprofit has helped over 2,000 women. And Carol? Still talking about what she might do someday. The emotional reality. I know this hurts. Especially at 50 plus, when you've had these people in your life for decades. You'll feel guilty. Maybe I'm being selfish. Maybe I'm not being a good Christian. Maybe I should try harder. You'll feel lonely. You'll question everything. But here's the truth. Jesus had 12 disciples, 3 close friends, and 1 betrayed him. Not everyone is meant to go all the way with you. Don't burn bridges. Don't send long goodbye texts explaining yourself. Just create space. And pray this with me right now. God, I release everyone you're removing, and I trust you to bring everyone I need. Sign 2, the stirring of old dreams. You buried something 10, 15, maybe 20 years ago. A dream, a calling, a what if. You told yourself you were being practical, responsible, realistic. You had bills to pay, kids to raise, responsibilities. But lately, that dream has been waking back up. And it's loud. It's persistent. You can't shake it. Joseph dreamed at 17. 13 years later, sitting in prison, he's still talking about those dreams. Why? Because God-given dreams don't die. They go dormant. And when God is about to activate your elevation, He reactivates your dream. Why the dream came back. Now Paul was 62, spent 35 years in corporate finance, always had an idea for a product, but he told himself, maybe in retirement, maybe when I have time. At 61, during a sleepless night, the idea came back stronger than ever. He couldn't shake it. At 62, he launched. At 64, his product is in 500 stores nationwide. He told me something powerful. If I'd started this at 30, I would have failed. I didn't have the wisdom, the connections, the financial stability, or the patience. The dream came back because now was the appointed time. Angela felt called to women's ministry at 30. Life happened. Marriage, kids, a difficult divorce, financial struggles that nearly broke her. She shelved the dream. At 55, a friend asked her to speak at a small women's event. Angela said yes, reluctantly. 60 women showed up, and 20 gave their lives to Christ that night. 2 years later, Angela has a full-time ministry reaching thousands. She told me through tears, if this had happened at 30, I wouldn't have had the scars necessary to minister to hurting women. My pain wasn't wasted. It was preparation. And you know about Grandma Moses, right? Started painting at 78. First major exhibition at 80. Painted until she was 101. Nobody remembers what she did from 18 to 78, but everybody remembers what she created from 78 to 101. You think you're too old? You're not ending. You're just getting started. What's different this time? Here's what you need to understand. When you were younger, the dream felt like fantasy. Fun to think about. Exciting, but scary. Now, the dream feels like assignment. Yeah, don't just want to do it. You feel like you have to. Like you'll explode if you don't. Like something inside you will die if you keep ignoring it. That's not anxiety. That's anointing. Before, you needed permission from other people. Now, you need obedience to God. Before, you ask, what if I fail? Now, you're asking, what if I don't even try? What if I die with this still inside me? What you need to do. First, write it down. Don't edit yourself. Don't judge it. Don't make it sound reasonable or realistic. Just write. Second, tell one person you trust. Speaking it out loud breaks something in the spirit realm. Third, take one small step this week. Not the whole staircase. Just one step. The enemy will tell you it's too late. That's a lie from hell. People will tell you to be realistic. That's their fear talking, not wisdom. Your own mind will tell you you're crazy. That's doubt trying to protect you from disappointment. But if God is stirring it, He's also supplying everything you need to accomplish it. Your job isn't to figure out how. Your job is to say yes. Sign 3. The unexplainable peace in the storm. This is the sign most people miss. And it's the most powerful indicator that your elevation has already begun. Your circumstances haven't changed. You still have the same problems, same bills, same challenges. But something inside you shifted. You have a peace that makes absolutely no sense. Philippians 4:7 talks about the peace of God, which transcends all understanding. It transcends understanding because it doesn't make sense. You should be anxious, but you're not. You should be panicking, but you're calm. Look at Paul and Silas, beaten, bleeding, thrown in prison at midnight. And what are they doing? Singing, not complaining, not panicking, not questioning God. Singing. Why? Because they had a peace that transcended their circumstances. And you know what happened next? Earthquake. Chains broke. Doors flew open. Elevation. Brenda was 59 when she was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. Everyone expected her to fall apart. Her adult children came home prepared to take care of her. Instead, she had this unexplainable calm. She told me, I can't explain it, but I just know, deep in my spirit, that it's going to be okay. 18 months later, cancer-free. But here's the twist nobody expected. During her treatment, she started a blog to encourage other women fighting cancer. That blog now reaches 50,000 women monthly. Women write to her saying, "Your words saved my life." Her trial became her platform, but the platform came because peace came first. Kevin was 54, lost his business in a bad partnership, lost his marriage in the aftermath, lost his home in the divorce. On paper, his life was completely over. But he woke up one morning with this strange, unexplainable peace. He told his pastor, I can't explain it, but I feel like something really good is coming. I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. People thought he was in denial. 2 years later, he rebuilt everything. New business, healthier than the old one. New relationship with a woman who actually values him. New home, better than what he lost. He said, the peace came before the breakthrough. It was God's way of saying, I've got you. Stop fighting. Start trusting. What this peace unlocks. When you have this unexplainable peace, 3 things happen. First, clarity. When you're anxious, everything's blurry. Every decision feels overwhelming. But when you're at peace, you see clearly. Decisions you've been wrestling with for months suddenly become obvious. Second, courage. Fear and peace cannot coexist in the same space. When peace shows up, fear has to leave. That scary conversation you've been avoiding, you'll have it. That risk you've been too afraid to take, you'll take it. Third, divine timing. Peace is God's way of saying, now, this is the moment. Don't wait until you feel ready. If you have peace, you are ready. The shift. You'll notice. You'll stop losing sleep over things you can't control. You'll stop obsessively checking your bank account, your email, your phone. You'll stop asking everyone for advice and start listening to God. You'll stop saying, what if it doesn't work? And start saying, what if it does? Your elevation starts today. So let me ask you directly, and I want you to answer honestly, even if it's just in your heart right now. Are old connections falling away? Are people who used to be close suddenly distant? Are relationships that once felt solid now feeling strained? Are buried dreams resurfacing? Is something you gave up on years ago suddenly waking back up inside you? Do you feel this unexplainable urgency to pursue something you thought you'd let go? Do you have an unexplainable peace? Are you calmer than you should be given your circumstances? Do you have a knowing deep inside that everything is going to be okay, even though nothing has changed yet? If you said yes to even one of these, your elevation has begun. This isn't motivation. This is confirmation. God is moving. The question is, will you move with Him? In the next 48 hours, I challenge you to do 3 things. First, release one relationship that's draining you. Not with drama, not with a big announcement. Just create space. Stop answering every call. Stop saying yes when you want to say no. Second, write down the dream that won't leave you alone. Put it on paper. Make it real. And take one small step toward it this week. Third, thank God for the peace you have right now, even if your circumstances haven't changed yet. Because that peace is evidence that He's already working behind the scenes. Your wait wasn't wasted. Your delay was divine. Your elevation doesn't start someday. It starts today. If this message resonated deep in your spirit, I want you to do something. Type in the comments right now. My elevation starts now. Not for me, for you. Let that be your declaration, your agreement with heaven. And then watch what God does in the next 48 hours. You are chosen. You are called, and your time is now.